Let's do another demonstration and just say that we want to take in a number and we want to square that and return the number. So static float square number. And then now we want to take in an actual number, float num1. And this is pretty easy. So we could say float input num is equal to num1, and then return input num times input num. We could do it like that. We could also do two lines, or just do a single line, return num1 times num1. Either way will work. Normally I would probably do something like this, but I'm just showing that we're creating a variable inside of there that is only going to be scoped to this particular method. Now all we need to do is we just need to read in a number and then just pass that to the method and then store the return value. So float in num, and then console dot write, please enter a number to square. And then now in num is going to be, now we cannot do console dot write line or read line that because this is going to be a type string and we're trying to put it into a type float. So what we need to do is, and there's a lot of ways that we can do this, float.parse. Notice that there is this parse and this try parse. For right now, I'm just going to assume that whatever value is entered is a float. It's not a letter or something like that. Normally what you would probably do is do a try parse first and see if that will actually work. So you read this into a string, you try to parse it into a float. If that succeeds, then you actually parse it. But for right now, I'm just going to assume that it all works. And now I'm going to go ahead and run this. So this is taking in a float. So I can say square number in num. And this is returning a float. So I need to store that. I can go ahead and store it in the same location. Num is equal to that. And then I can go ahead and write this out. Console.write line. Oh, and actually I probably don't want to store it back in that one, come to think of it. So let me go ahead and get rid of that for a moment, and then just say in num squared is, so if I did do in num equals square number in num, it would overwrite in num, and now this would be the squared value, and I wanted the original input value. But what I can do with string interpolation is I can just say square number in num right here. So I can put some code in there and it will evaluate that. So now when we run this, please enter a number to square, 42. Oh, might help if I turn numlock on. Go ahead and start over again. 42 squared is 1,746. I think that's right. I'll just do 2. 2 squared is 4. That's easy to do in my head. And because it is a float, I can do 2.5. And now we get 6.25. Or if we do 5.34231 and we square it, it comes out as 28.540276, so on and so forth. But notice that this is not actually getting stored anywhere. We're just returning the value from our square number, and then we're just printing it out inside of our string there. But you can do that, or if you wanted to, you could create another float answer, and then just say answer is equal to, let's go ahead and cut that from there, paste that there, semicolon, and then we just put answer in this location, and now it effectively functions the exact same way. So if I run this, 4 squared is 16. So That's another way that you can do this, but now keep in mind that this is scoped to this particular method. Once this method exits, this variable no longer exists. It only exists inside of square number. There are ways that you can pass things by reference, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.